Good evening, everyone. I am very, very glad that we are gathered here to celebrate our newest Lifetime Trustee, Pat Reser.
Pat Reser is an amazing leader who enriches every community she's a part of, whether that's Northwest Oregon, Oregon State University, or the arts community. Pat's service on the OSU Foundation Board of Trustees, its campaign steering committee, and the university's board has been transformational. Her contributions have expanded and enhanced OSU's service throughout the state.
Pat and her family are steadfast believers in OSU and the university's ability to change people's lives. From helping students persist and succeed academically to supporting athletics, the arts, wellness, science, and many other important endeavors, Pat's leadership and vision can be seen and felt throughout OSU. And her actions have inspired and influenced others, as demonstrated by the university's incredible fundraising and engagement momentum.
Behind Pat's strength in business is a gifted educator. The best teachers don't just share important lessons, they inspire us to become our best selves, and that's what Pat has done for me, for our board, and our university.
I remember the night when it was announced that I was being named the Patricia Valian Reser Professor of Music. It was on this very stage at a concert in December, and it was just such a surprise and such a shock. That idea that I would be able to represent that name to the university, and also that that name would represent more than athletics or other things, but that the arts would be brought forward. The Reser Professorship has made a lot of things possible that never otherwise would have happened. And sometimes it's been things that I've personally been able to do, but more times than not, it's benefited students. It's meant commissions with composers. It meant bringing people on campus that the students met. It assisted in providing financial support to students that they never would have had otherwise. I think that when we look back at this time, we're going to see that the arts have just made this turning point. That there is going to be a demarcation line of before and after. What the arts were in the first 150 years and what the arts are in the next 50 years. And there is no moment that is more important than Pat Reser's investment in the arts at OSU.
Pat is an extraordinarily positive, supportive, compassionate individual, but I also saw many of those same qualities in her leadership. For me, of course, it was the Reser gift to Austin Hall. She was encouraging and supportive in that every event that I needed her to be there to add additional support and an element, I think, of trust for others to see that this was an important project. Pat was there for me. She is this complex woman. She invests in science, in the arts, in business. She cares about Oregon State, but she cares about the state. She cares about Beaverton. She cares about rural Oregon. If you visit with her, you'll also understand how important family is. And for a woman to be able to express how important family is to her, and that not be a weakness, that is a role model.
It's unbelievable how many projects she and her late husband Al and Bill now and the Reser family, it's just extraordinary how many projects they've been involved in. One of the first conversations I had with her, she said, do you know why we contributed and agreed to the naming of Reser Stadium? And she wanted to put a stake in the ground and say, this is not your father's Oregon State University. It was a way of bringing her gravitas, his gravitas, and community significance to bear on Oregon State going forward. Well, that told me, this is a person who understands not just the importance of getting things done, but the symbolism of what you do and how you get it done to do pretty much near the impossible. And I think the campaign for OSU is pretty much near the impossible. Pat was very good at understanding the rhythms and dynamics of meetings to get the most out of them. She probably talked less than most people I've ever seen run a meeting. And Pat led with a light touch. I mean, she tapped into everybody's skill set. She really built a team on that board, and she's just a master of that.
Pat, she never wants to be a spectator. So anytime that she has traveled with us, she's wanted to help, to engage, to put her gifts and her talents to use. So I wasn't here, but I've heard the story of her first trip to Uganda and how she was so moved because she visited one of the maternity centers where they had just 2 beds and they had 18 births over a 24-hour period and had women on the floor, in the halls, and finally decided to help invest to double the size of that maternity, which she did and came back a couple years later. But when she returned, she brought her paints, artistic Pat, right? She decided that the clinic needed a mural. And so she got some of the local community to help her and painted this beautiful mural on that clinic wall just because she wanted the women to feel welcome.
When Pat walks in the door at Reser's Fine Foods, our employees love to see her in the building. She is like a superhero here. Everyone appreciates her style and the way that she approaches them. She's super friendly, interested in what's going on with folks' families. She wants the very best for the company. She always takes the high road looking for the best that we can be. And the company continues to thrive with Pat's leadership. In 2011, Pat came up with the idea about Reser's Cares, a program to bring employees together at each of our factories across the nation to make decisions about giving both our food and monetary support to local communities. Through Pat's vision and support, giving truly is in the hands of the people at Reser's Fine Foods. I am so thankful to have had the opportunity to work with Pat for such a long time. She's an inspiration and a kind soul in the world with such a big heart. And I'm grateful to have had the opportunity to be a part of her family's work.
I didn't know Pat that well, other than we were starting to be on the board together, and all of a sudden I get an invite to her 80th birthday. And I'm like, Kate, look! So we both went to that. And when I looked at who was in there, I just was humbled. I think she kind of showed, I respect this person and I see potential in this person. And that meant a lot to us. I really don't think Pat understands the overall influence that she's had on myself and so many others. It's almost like a new type of oxygen or air that goes through you, and you just all of a sudden get excited about feeling that I can do this better. And the more little tiny opportunities you have with her, that only just continues to expand. Pat's legacy is not the Reser name on the company, the Reser name on the football stadium, or anywhere else. Her legacy is all the lives that she has touched and the philosophy of giving, and then how she's influenced so many others into a whole next generation of philanthropic giving. That will last forever.
When I first joined the board 15 years ago, I can remember being awe-inspired by Pat. And I think of Pat and the role that she played then and the role she still plays now as sort of the North Star that I try to achieve in my leadership. And I think all of us as volunteer leaders, as part of the Board of Trustees, share that same idea as Pat being our North Star for making Oregon State and the foundation what it is.
Pat, thank you for your example as a business leader, volunteer, and philanthropist, for your vision of what is possible and your fearlessness in leading the way forward. And thank you for your deep sense of caring, your desire to create opportunities for everyone through education, medical access, and the arts. This honor is well deserved. Congratulations.